they do face off. But that there's not a whole lot of fights on this the remainder of the season that I'm looking forward to. I mean, it went from being one of the most anticipated things in tough history to I'm sick of watching the Rampage Rashad show when they're not going to be fighting, and the fights themselves just have not been compelling enough to really pull viewers in.
Well, Jamie, Rampage has made a splash because at my show on Friday night, one of the guys, I won't say who, but a bunch of people in the crowd started yelling, "It's titties, it's titties." This guy, I guess he had a little bit of titties. And so people are evidently watching the Spike show and remembering what Rampage is saying.
Yeah, in one of Jim's fights this past Friday night, this guy, he came out looking real similar body-wise to I can't remember his name. You said it, Jamie.
I don't want to say his name, but he won.
And he looked good, too. So,
well, how did the punch look?
Which
when
punch?
It was live. The Fedor's punch.
Fedor's punch?
How did that sit live?
What did you think of Fedor's punch live?
That was.
Did you hear it?
I was on my feet for that entire fight, as was everyone else. They had a bunch of us. They had the media split between cage side, and then I was up in the suites for the event with a bunch of other guys, and it was an insane atmosphere from start to finish in that fight. And when that punch happened, and you saw Brett go down, it was ridiculous. And then seeing the replay of it over and over again, I mean, it was almost an identical punch to how he finished Arlovsky in January. I mean, he does not even wind up that punch.
That comes out of nowhere.
And it's cocked and ready. And if you're not hitting first, he's going to hit you with that. That's the thing, is you have to be the aggressor against Fedor. You have to get him off his rhythm, and you cannot let him get that first punch in like that, because if you do, you're done. But Brett Rogers showed a hell of a lot to a hell of a lot of people.
I agree.
And I think, we saw signs of greatness from Brett Rogers even in the loss, because he's only going to get better from here. He's only going to get better from here. I've seen it equated to GSP's first fight against Matt Hughes. Caught up with the hype, got beat.
He was jittery. He was definitely jittery at the beginning of that fight. And if he comes in a little more calm like he was throughout the fight, I agree with you. I think that's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah, he already announced, too, that he needs to be more aggressive and throw punches against Fedor. He already knew his mistake. So.
Yeah.
Jamie, I got a question for you.
I'm not so sure that he comes back and beats Fedor if they fight again. You can't say that. Fedor hasn't been beat, so you can't say that anyone's going to come and beat him. But the fact is, I think I would favor Rogers against just about anyone else that Strikeforce is going to throw against him.
I agree.
Including Fabricio Verdum and Alistair Overeem right now. I think I would take Rogers over both of them. And the fact that he's been there longer and better than any other fighter had in the last at least 3 years is a testament to him. And I don't agree that Fedor was really exposed in the fight. There's people that have used that line of thought that they felt he had been exposed in the fight by Rogers. I think Rogers just is a very good fighter that was highly underrated and was able to find some success in a couple of spots. And it was just a really, really good fight from start to finish. And with the way the crowd reacted to Fedor and the audience that tuned in for this fight, this is a star-making performance for both. And absolutely the best thing that could have happened to Strikeforce and to Fedor in the U.S.
Jamie, can I ask you something now before we finish?
Absolutely.
Okay. They never really talked about this in here, and once again, I come from a judging and refereeing background, so I'm always going, he punched him, and I replayed this thing 10 times. Fedor's head didn't even move back an inch. So it wasn't much of a punch with the jab. The jab that hit, but then he cut his nose wide open. I would immediately, when I looked at his gloves, to see exactly if there was an edge or something going on, or if it's thumbed him, or what happened with that. But that was not from a punch. That had to be, his thumb had to cut him, or the edge of the glove, or something. Because that was a crazy gouge. That thing just bled, and that was just, I mean, I just didn't see it as anything there. Like I said, it didn't even budge his head. So it wasn't like he hit him that hard. His head didn't snap back, nothing at all. And all of a sudden the blood just started coming out and got worse and worse and worse. But that was a hell of a gouge. But then nobody even looked at the guy's gloves.
I don't know. I mean, I thought when I saw the punch, I didn't think it did anything, but I only saw the replay that night, and I thought it was a lot harder than...
I watched it
broke though later.
Pardon?
When you look at it, his nose looked broke besides the
Yeah, I
gash.
think
Well, his nose always looks like that.
Yeah, maybe so.
I mean, but the skin was laid open and everything else, and so you couldn't see much with the swelling and everything. But I mean, did they ever look at his gloves? Did anybody ever say anything, or was there any comment on how that was cut?
Not that I know of. I mean, from where we were and from the replay of it, I mean, I watched the fight a couple of times now myself. It looked just to me like it was just a straight jab that landed flush on the nose. And I mean, it looked like he was bleeding from the nose more so than just the bridge of the nose. And I think it got opened up later when Brett was pounding on him in that ground and pound flurry that he had. So,
See, I think the only reason
I don't know if there was much concern on that.
Fedor almost got in trouble because I think he thought they were going to stop the fight. That was bleeding so bad, I think Fedor was worried they were going to stop the fight on him. When he's looking down and see this much blood coming out, I think Fedor thought he had to do something because he did a couple things I don't think he normally would have done, like go for that arm bar, that Kimura and stuff.
I don't know, man. Fedor to me looked dangerous on all ends.
He slaps those submissions quick, though.
He does. He'll put him on there, but I think he was in a hurry.
And
right
that was
a lot of blood coming out.
That was what was so impressive to me about Greg Rogers is how he got out of some deep submissions from Fedor. I mean, he's obviously extremely strong.
Well, he's extremely strong, and his jiu-jitsu game is his defense. I mean, he's not going to be an offensive jiu-jitsu specialist. He's not going to be attempting submissions left and right. But he's damn well training his ass off on how to get out of them. Especially coming in against Fedor, and he showed that with a great sweep when Fedor went for that Kimura, and then as well as getting out of that armbar when Fedor tried to get it on. If he would have been able to fight through the armbar and not let Fedor's leg get up there, if he would have been able to power out of that, he would have come a lot closer to finishing that fight. And Fedor got himself out of a dangerous spot there with that, and it's something he's done time and time again, so it wasn't surprising to see him do it. It was surprising to see Brett, fight through all of that and stay in it in that first round.
Good stuff, Jamie. You going to be with us next week?
Absolutely, guys.
All right, well, we'll talk about UFC 105 and the upcoming UFC 106 next week.
Thanks, Jamie.
Talk to you guys later.
Great, thanks a lot.